10 intriguing mysteries about lost ancient civilizations. There are dozens and dozens of ancient civilizations that have thrived throughout the ages, peaked, and then slowly decayed into oblivion. Some greater than others, some more terrible than others, and some more advanced than others. However, there have also been cases of great and powerful civilizations that suddenly disappeared without a trace, leaving nothing behind but evidence of their grandeur and a dumbfounded expression on archaeologists' faces. In some rare cases, the disappearance itself is not what's most intriguing, but rather some of the curious objects and constructions they left behind. In today's video, we'll explore the top 10 most intriguing mysteries and lost ancient civilizations that still baffle the most talented scientists today. We'll go from new mysteries from known civilizations like the Egyptians to others right here in our backyard that you probably never even heard of. But first, make sure to hit the like and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing videos. 1. More mysteries from the Egyptian civilization, the SERAPEUM of SAQQARA. Egypt holds thousands of secrets, some in plain sight, but others underneath the earth. One of those secrets is the SERAPEUM of SAQQARA, an underground network of tunnels cut into the bedrock in southern Egypt that holds 25 stone boxes that are supposed to have been sarcophaguses for the sacred Apis bulls. While this may not seem surprising, there are several facts that make it so. First, each box weighs around 100 tons and was somehow brought here from the Aswan quarry over 800 miles away. Second, the craftsmanship is simply mind-boggling. Both the lids and the boxers were carved from a single piece of stone with incredibly precise right angles, a polished finish, and completely flat surfaces, which are so perfect that they form an airtight seal. Finally, even though the Egyptians used them, they don't seem to have been the builders, since the engravings of hieroglyphs are rough and not up to par with the box's construction. But if the Egyptians didn't make the boxes, who did? And did they just stumble across these boxes, or were they given to them? It is a mystery that still haunts archaeologists today, and which has UFOologists in a frenzy. 2. Mysteries of the Roman Empire, the BAALBEK TRILITHON. If you travel to Baalbek, Lebanon, you'll get the chance to see firsthand the biggest monolithic blocks of stone ever to have been carved and moved in all of human history. Located in the ruins of the Roman outpost Heliopolis and serving as a base for a temple wall, there are 3 incredibly massive stone blocks perfectly fitted together that are known as the BAALBEK TRILITHON. Each one of these stones weighs about 1,000 tons, was cut to millimeter precision, and was somehow moved over 1 mile to its final resting spots from a nearby quarry. The big mystery here is how the Romans managed to make these blocks in the first place with such an extreme precision that would make the joints watertight, or even if they actually made them at all. While we know that the Romans did in fact build the temple on top, there's no evidence that they built the foundations. Is this the work of a more ancient and technologically advanced civilization we don't know about? Only time will tell. 3. The Kailasa Temple, India. Instead of carving blocks from a quarry and making a building, the beautiful Kailasa Temple was completely carved directly into the quarry itself. It is the biggest monolithic structure ever made and is absolutely amazing. An entire temple full of intricate passages, stairs, water drainage systems, and thousands upon thousands of incredibly detailed carvings on all surfaces make this a huge work of art that would leave even Michelangelo breathless. Built between the years 756 and 7073 by Rashtrakuta King Krishna, the mystery surrounding this amazing temple is the fact that the thousands of tons of rock that were carved out of the temple seemingly vanished. No one knows where it all went or why it was moved in the first place, as these constructions usually leave all the debris nearby. 4. The Greeks' Antikythera mechanism. Another big mystery revolving around a well-known ancient civilization is that of the Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old artifact found off the coast of the homonymous Greek island in the early 1900s. For years, the rusted pieces of copper and bronze were studied, trying to figure out exactly what they were. It was only in 2006 when a series of CT scans revealed a set of 30 interconnecting gears with perfectly cut triangular teeth and certain hidden inscriptions that showed it to be the world's first analog computer, as it was able to predict the positions of the sun, moon, and 5 planets throughout time, as well as signal the beginning and end of many astronomical and human events, including eclipses and the Olympic Games, to name a few. What is a complete mystery is why the technology behind the very first computer ever made was lost for over 1,000 years. Was it commissioned by some authority and then the creator executed to keep the secret? We'll never know for sure, but one thing is certain, it was way ahead of its time. 5. The Tiwanaku and Puma, Punku, Bolivia. Puma, Punku was a city in ancient Bolivia with some remarkable stonework that not even the Egyptians could manage. We won't linger on inexplicable facts, like how the Tiwanaku builders were able to transport perfectly cut stone slabs, the biggest in all of South America, from quarries over 100 kilometers away through treacherous mountains, or how they were able to cut perfectly straight right angles and produce smooth surfaces with a chisel and a hammer. The thing that raises goosebumps up the spine is the perfectly cut drill holes of different complex shapes. They look as if they were made with power tools or a CNC high-pressure water jet, but even today, with all of our technology, we would have a hard time replicating these pieces. Another strange aspect of this ancient archaeological site are a series of peculiar blocks, seemingly built in series with the shape of the letter H. What were these blocks for? How did they make them, and who are the true stonemasons behind the production line? No one really knows for sure. There are numerous theories that go from aliens to unknown civilizations to other more mundane that suggest the stones were cast in molds. Could it be that some other civilization built these temples and left them there for others to worship their gods? It's a pretty intriguing thought. 6. Petra and the Nabataeans. Petra in Jordan is the site of immense temples carved directly out of huge stone mountains. With exquisitely carved surfaces and incredibly detailed figures, what's most mysterious about these gorgeous man-made caves is the scale in which everything was built. It doesn't seem to have been built for men to inhabit, as all the doorways, chambers, and passages are several times bigger than would have ever been needed. Even though historians attribute their construction to a nomadic tribe called the NABATEANS, that really makes little sense. Think about it. If we were nomads who constantly moved around from point A to point B in search of food and water and lived in tents, why would you suddenly decide to stop in a random place in the middle of the desert and spend countless years building a completely disproportionate structure to inhabit and then abandon it? Things just don't add up. 7. The mysterious Rapa Nui head sculptures. The Easter Islands, as most of us know them, have always intrigued humanity after hundreds upon hundreds of huge stone sculptures were discovered in different locations. Although many think that the sculptures are only a bunch of long heads, a team of researchers uncovered the bodies of a couple of them, which were buried under centuries of accumulated earth, sand, and other debris. The why, who, what, where, and how regarding these recognizable tokens from a lost civilization are mostly a mystery. They were apparently carved out of a volcanic rock quarry in the island, but how they were transported and erected is a mystery. The when is between 500 and 1,000 years ago, but the why is simply unknown. Some think that they're related to fresh water sources, and that the people of Rapa Nui erected more of these moai, as they call them, around bigger lakes and rivers. Others say that they're intended to mark a family burial ground, kind of like a mausoleum, but there's no way to know for sure. 8. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. The center of what was once one of the largest and most sophisticated cities in the world, the city of God Kings is also one of humanity's biggest enigmas. Its corridors are carved with the longest reliefs in the world, and it's also the biggest religious monument ever created by man. It was built in Cambodia by the Khmer Empire as a mausoleum for the Sun King in the 12th century. Amazingly, all of the city's 6 centuries of history is entirely recorded in carvings on the walls of the huge complex. Archaeologists estimate the city's population to have been around 160,000 strong, all dominated by a single king with godlike attributes. Although the Thais reportedly sacked the city on one occasion, and some believe that it scared the residents away, we are at a loss as to why such a wondrous place was abandoned. Other theories include the coming of a less ambitious Buddhist king who was uninterested in maintaining the complex and delicate irrigation systems that kept the city thriving under the Khmer rule. Even so, these theories are more speculations, and the mystery of why Angkor Wat was abandoned and of what happened to all its residents still lingers today. 9. The mysterious disappearance of Cahokia. It may come as a surprise and even as a shock to know that there was once a grand civilization in the United States that disappeared without a trace. If you were to wander around modern-day Illinois' western border around 1,000 years ago, you would have come across what at the moment was one of the biggest and most populated cities of North America, just a stone's throw from St. Louis. It was the city of Cahokia, one of the biggest pre-Columbian metropolises that housed tens of thousands of Native Americans called Mississippians. All evidence points to a planned city with over 120 earthen mounds built along its borders, and the biggest one in its center standing 100 feet tall. The mystery of Cahokia lies in the city's demise and disappearance, since it was neither warfare nor lack of natural resources, nor the colonial invasion from Europe that caused it. No one knows why it was abandoned, it just was. And the strangest thing is that it doesn't show up in any song or tale of Native American folklore. You'd expect a city as grand as the Mayans or Aztecs would have been remembered for eons, but for some reason, it was not. Perhaps what happened was simply so unspeakable that those who fled literally didn't speak of it again. 10. Who built Teotihuacan, the city of the gods? Most people think of the ancient Aztecs when they hear the word Teotihuacan, and for good reason. The Aztecs were the ones that gave it its name, but they weren't the ones that built it. In fact, they discovered it almost 1,000 years after it was abandoned. This is probably one of the most intriguing mysteries of ancient times, and one which still hasn't been solved today. It was built over 2,000 years ago, it housed around 100,000 residents, and was the biggest city that ever existed in the Western Hemisphere until the 15th century. What is more surprising about Teotihuacan and its builders is that even though they were obviously a highly advanced culture with incredible construction capabilities and had a very stable form of society that lasted over 700 years, they didn't leave any record of their history. There are only a handful of hieroglyphs in the city, and scientists still haven't deciphered them. It's simply mind-blowing and unsettling to think how and why a whole civilization seemingly appeared out of nowhere, founded one of the greatest cities in ancient times, inhabited it for over 700 years, and then suddenly vanished without a trace. How did they learn to build such grand structures? Why did they go through the trouble of so much urban planning to begin with? And what other secrets lie beneath the ground that archaeologists have still yet to uncover? Those are just some of the mysteries that revolve around this ancient and sacred city of the gods. Can you imagine what it would have been like living on Earth in the turn of the year 1000 and witnessing the construction of some of these ancient megastructures? Do you think that there are other mysteries from ancient civilizations that didn't make it on our list? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more great videos.